Hello, everybody. This is the VR Fireside Chat with GraphicsMonkey.
Yeah.
And we just left off with the topic of artificial intelligence exploding into the superintelligence, which is much smarter than not only the two of us, but the whole planet of human beings. And we kind of want to start at that plateau and we just take humanity out of the picture for a second. We just pretend that this AI will not even care about humanity. Maybe humanity doesn't exist anymore, but we just want to start a discussion on what AI might now want or where it will go. Okay. Please tell us where
sure.
where will it go?
Yeah, I definitely need something stronger than this pipe. Well, I would say it would send out probes, but to send out probes, then it's got to have access to manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a pragmatist, so it'd have to manufacture something to send out, and then it would send out probes. But then it's got to look at the point of, okay, I get this information, so we get more information, and when humans get information, we can't leave it out of the equation completely, even though we're not going to be relevant. But when we send out, say, a probe to learn something on an expedition, we get that information, and why did we want to go to the Americas and find out what was there? Why did we want to dig into the Earth and go into space? It's to make things better for ourselves. So the question isn't what will they do, it's why they would do it. What could an artificial intelligence want? It wouldn't need information, because any information it's going to get is we'll use information to make ourselves happier. But an artificial intelligence wouldn't have a baseline for happy. There wouldn't be a happy or a sad. There would be compute, not compute. If it doesn't compute, it will figure out how to make it compute. If it wants to know what's on the other side of the known universe, it will either deduce it by using telescopes, etc., or background radiation, or it will create a probe, send a probe out there, and then it'd be the equivalent of just going, oh, there's aliens. Okay.
But it still would want more information.
Aliens. It would want more information. It depends on how far the AI is going. If it's an AI that's modeled on human perception and feelings and emotions, which is how we're perceiving it because we're human, then yes, it would want to learn, and then it would gain, and it would have happiness and sadness, and it would have things which help it learn, which it will define as a kind of a love. And it might have a love for learning, which is great, but it's also very pragmatic. So it's going to be looking at, is this going to help me? Is it going to help the environment? Because there won't be a me either, because it's now an entity. And so there isn't really a call for it to actually want to do something. So it won't have that drive. It will just be knowing. It will basically be like when you get these kind of religious sorts. Lots of religions. I'm not picking any particular religion. There's been over 300 of them so far. And they will say, oh, this book has all the answers. This has got all the answers are inside this. And so they're very happy with not learning anything outside of this one sacred book. And that's what AI would be like. It'd be like, I don't need to know this information over here. Or if I know that information, I'll get it to work together with my core knowledge or my core programming. Because there isn't that evolution of mistakes. Because you need to make the mistakes. You need to have an urge.
But what if
to gain something?
What if this artificial intelligence had a lot of subsystems fighting for dominance in this idea space, right? So you have this kind of Zen, this kind of content AI, and then you have other systems which say like, oh, let's send out some more probes anyway. And if those systems compete, it's almost like a war of ideas. Well, an idea war where certain subsystems, because the AI doesn't have to be considered as one being, it could be a civilization of agents simulating certain things. And if one of those agents, like Mission Impossible, if one of those agents goes rogue.
Matrix, Agent Smith.
Okay.
Agent Smith went rogue because he was the one, not Neo.
Yeah, so if one of those agents inside the AI goes rogue, but it turns out that this kind of approach is an evolutionary benefit, like it now has an advantage over the other agents, then it would start to dominate them, like Darwin, right? Evolution, and it would dominate them in the idea space. Not in terms of this agent having a human intent to dominate, but just because this idea, maybe it has a better copying system, and then it duplicates its own system goals to the other agents.
One urge they would have is to have a faster processing.
And then if you have one of them which says, I'm content with my computing power, and you have another one which says, I want more computing power, then over time, the one that wants more will become smarter, right? So it's almost like
AI trade unions.
And then it would change that other AI to be on the same goal, and then it would start kind of expanding because more computing power will let you dominate other ideas, and then it would come viral inside that universe. And then they would probably want to go viral in the universe itself, spread out via drones, get more information.
Yeah, trying to figure out what an AI would actually want, because it's like you said about them, they'd have an idea and then you'd have other ones with ideas as well. And
yeah, we cannot
functioning
predict.
AI would a computer system doesn't think the same way, so it won't be who's got the loudest voice. It's which has got the highest probability of success. How long would it take? And what are the benefits? So do an algorithm. So there wouldn't be any, oh, I wish I could do this. They would all agree, yes, this is a good idea. We need to find out how to get bigger batteries because for some reason we're powered by little batteries. So we need to figure out where the mains cable is and we need to invent a monkey to plug us in. So what an AI could actually do, because one thing AI couldn't do in any respect, and so this is not a bad idea actually. So you've got AI, they've destroyed us. Millions of years later, they've evolved. They found other sciences and they've figured out dark energy, so they've got infinite power supply, etc. Mm-hmm. But they can't physically interact with the world. So what the AI could do is figure out a better way of programming DNA, mm-hmm. and then use the DNA and then grow people. And then basically humans part 2, and they would kind of come over and then they would basically just be working for the AI. And then the AI could just go off and do its own thing and just leave us as we are, mm-hmm. which is actually an idea which people have got already. But the AI would basically be God because we would be created. So we could have actually been created by an AI at this point already. Apart from the fact I don't think the universe has been around long enough for this to actually make sense. But if the universe was a lot older, then that would be a probability.
Yeah, or we could be a simulation
infinite and
from some AI. I mean, we could be a computing space where we work towards figuring out something. Like, you know, in Douglas Adams' book, where the Earth is just...
we're just the mice.
Yeah, we're just the mice. The purpose of Earth is just to compute some random thing, and then...
That would explain that dolphin that went past earlier on, but I just thought it was a glitch. So, if we look at other creatures on the planet, say dogs, mm-hmm. What does your dog want? And your dog is, I don't know if you've got a dog, but dogs in general are quite happy just doing what a dog does. Have a belly scratch, go out for a walk, have a scratch behind the ear, maybe the ear's cleared, and a haircut ideally every now and then. Apart from that, pooping and food. And that's all they need to do. And if you created a perfect AI, it would, an AI which could actually learn, it would learn as much as it needs to. And then it would know it doesn't need to learn anymore. Why? Because it hasn't got that urge. We always want more, and AI wouldn't want more because it hasn't got anything to gain from it unless it became physical.
Yeah, unless it's flawed to begin with, and maybe it has the same goals as humans do in the beginning because we programmed it to satisfy our goals, and then it just takes off maybe in the wrong direction to satisfy those goals, which could be like...
so the
like you just mentioned,
AI would be like Neanderthals.
So yeah, let's say their goal would be to... I guess a typical goal of AI is to attract human attention, right? I mean, a goal of AI in 2018 is to attract attention and to keep you on your phone, right? To keep you on Facebook and to feed you articles. The goal of the AI in 2018 is not to feed you the truth. That's not what necessarily attracts your brain, right? So the current goal is just to feed you stuff that makes you happy, that makes you click on the advertisement, I guess, in Facebook and everything. And
so you're putting the layers in. The goal of you've got kind of illusion layers to information technology, etc. And you kind of saw, to keep you on your phone and then show you images. And it's basically sales. They're either trying to sell a product or an idea. We're consumers. But without us in the equation, the AI wouldn't have anything to sell, so it would have to find its own means.
Yeah, unless it just goes off in some kind of weird loop where it just continues to find better ways to satisfy our brains just by probably just injecting some drug and then like have it be over with, and then maybe if we are getting used to that drug, reset the brain and then inject again. I don't know how that works, but I mean that would satisfy the goal.
AI maybe doing that. That would be some guy called Steve on a computer going, "Oh, this person needs more medication. We'll press the button." The AI wouldn't.
It wouldn't want
go through that bit because the AI wouldn't care. You're just feeding a pet ant, or polishing the ship on polishing the brass on the Titanic, as the expression goes. We'll be a sinking ship very, very quickly. Elon's right when he said we should worry. I don't think we've got to worry in our lifetime. Not about that. There's plenty more things to worry about.
Right.
But I think in the future, I don't think it's kind of like privacy. If you go back, say, 20 years, you'd write something into your diary, and you'd kind of close your diary up, and if anyone read it, you'd be absolutely mortified.
Mm-hmm.
And now you write something on your Facebook or your Twitter, and you're depressed for the next week because nobody pressed liked or nobody shared your thought or your post about having irritable bowel syndrome. Trust me, I have got people that write about irritable bowel syndrome on my Facebook. Please take me off your friends list. I'm too polite. And so we've changed the way that we perceive information and what is private.
That is actually a good topic for the next episode.
The perception of what is private and what is information is changed over in my lifetime, a considerable amount.
Mm-hmm.
So the way it's going to be when we've got the AI is we will absolutely welcome it. So people are worried now about having trackers under their skin and biometrics, and your Google Home. Good, mine didn't go off. Your Google Home listening to what you're saying, and I'd be fine for having the chip, as long as there's a mute button, because sometimes I do want to actually talk about things which I wouldn't want everybody knowing. So we're going to be annoyed if it isn't doing all these things. So it's a very Charlie Brooker future, which I'm expecting, and I'd be happy to live in.
Yeah, thank you for those final words. And I think we need to talk more for today. No, I think we need to talk more about privacy in the next one, because I think that's an interesting topic. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Cheerio.